Hello, everyone, and welcome to another recap race analysis here of the Cycling Day Extra channel, where we're going through the Giro d'Italia 2025, Stage 9, the gravel stage. And today, as always, I'm joined by Patrick Blake of Outdo Cycling. And Patrick, what a stage!
Absolutely fantastic stage. Stage 9 of the Giro d'Italia from Gubbio to Siena, 181 kilometers. Funnily enough, probably about the same distance as Strade Bianche used to be before Tadej Pogacar started dominating it year on year. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point is, this was a crazy, crazy good stage. We saw an early breakaway containing Caden Groves, Quentin Hermans, Luc Lamberty, Milan Fletin, Taco van der Horn, and Dries. We saw Groves working really hard for Quentin Hermans to try and get him for as far into the race as possible, kind of Paris-Roubaix style. Fully enough, Groves didn't really go for the intermediate sprints. I think that kind of shows he's not that interested in the Ciclamina jersey, or maybe everyone's just so far down on Pedersen that nobody can be bothered. But anyway, the main sort of thing that happened today was obviously on the gravel sectors. There were 4 of them today, and they were all pretty long. It was on the first one where we see going into it, I think it was, in the Ineos Grenadiers were really drilling it. Lidl Trek as well. It was those two teams who were really ripping it up with Mads Pedersen and Josh Tarling respectively. And there's an uphill section on the first gravel sector, which is where things really started ripping to pieces. We saw Ulissi entering, obviously the Maya Rosa. He entered that first gravel sector way out of position, and he pretty much immediately got gapped. And then the thing that happened on that gravel sector was that we just saw a whittling down pretty much to just the GC guys. Nothing crazy happened. I think maybe Max Poole or Rubio, Bardet were dispatched off the back, but by and large, a lot of the big GC favourites were still present. And I think it was on the second gravel sector where pretty much everything crazy happened. So we're talking 60 kilometers to go. We see, and this event I'm about to mention is pretty much what defined the whole race. There was one crash. I think it was Lucas Hamilton who went down on the outside, and then that brought down Roglic and Pidcock and held up quite a lot of people, including Ayuso. And from that, you see this sort of split happen in that group. At the front of that split is Del Toro, Bernal, Arensman, Wout van Aert, Brandon Rivera-Smith, and Roglic. Yeah, he went down, but he didn't hurt anything particularly. But we then see that he had a flat tire as well. So although he got on his bike very quickly, like Pidcock did and Ayuso, Roglic then had to wait probably 30 seconds. He got dropped out of the Ayuso group because of that rear wheel puncture. So then Roglic ends up freaking in no man's land, a minute behind. There are no Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe riders in sight. I mean, they were sort of present with Moscon, but there was no Tratnik, no Aliotti. Pellizzari was doing, God's work for Roglic today once he managed to catch back up to him. So then we had kind of groups all over the road. I mean, I think Stora had crashed into that sector as well. So we see a group of 5 up ahead. We then see the Ayuso group behind there. Then there's a Roglic, Pidcock kind of group. Pidcock had his own puncture as well. We then see the group in the front. Obviously, that's the main 5. So we're talking Brandon Rivera-Smith, who was doing an amazing job. He was driving on the front for Arensman and Bernal. Then we see Arensman had a mechanical or something. He dropped out of that group. So then we're down to Rivera-Smith, Bernal, Wout van Aert, and Del Toro. Del Toro and Van Aert aren't working at all. Ineos were kind of making the race, so they were just kind of using their eagerness to really make the stage. Del Toro was probably playing the card of, I've got Ayuso behind, and Wout van Aert was probably saying, I've got Simon Yates behind. So they were just getting a free ride. And we see them. I mean, nothing really happened. It was just a lot of status quo of people gaining a few seconds on groups and back and forth, back and forth. Then we see up the Colle Pinzuto, which, if you remember, I think it was where where he dropped Pidcock in Strade Bianche earlier this year. We see Del Toro, I think he'd attacked before then. Vatsek had also bridged over in some kind of really weird, probably weirdest move of the day, to be honest. And we see Del Toro put the hammer down. Bernal gets dropped, Vatsek gets dropped. So it's just Del Toro and Wout van Aert up ahead with probably 25 kilometers to go. So they're in a 2-up. Wout van Aert's pretty much just not pulling at all because he almost got dropped by Del Toro. Nothing else much is happening behind. Roglic is pretty much running out of teammates. He's having to work with Derek G to try and minimize his losses. He's at about kind of like a minute behind the Ayuso group. Pidcock's in with Roglic as well. The GC group of Ayuso is all kind of, nothing's really happening there. So it's pretty much Del Toro versus Wout van Aert. They'd been let off the leash because Bernal had been dropped now, so it was those two, but it was like Del Toro working on the front, being chased by UE Team Emirates behind, which was really weird. So it was a whole weird dynamic, which we'll talk about. But essentially, we're going into the, up to the Piazza del Campo, into Siena, the last kind of berg. We're all very used to it. It's Strade Bianchi. It's Del Toro leading it out. It's Wout van Aert behind him. They're going up, the 700 meters at 9%. Del Toro's leading it out. He's putting the hammer down. Wout van Aert's still holding onto the wheel. They go over the top of it, and it plateaus just a little bit at the top. The twisty, turny bits of it in the last kind of 200 meters. Wout van Aert goes past Del Toro, and at that point, it's so hard to come past. Del Toro thinks about doing a couple of dive bombs here and there, but decides that it might be a bit more sensible, considering that he is in the virtual Juan Ayuso at this point, just to kind of stay where he is. So we're going around the last few corners. Del Toro's super close, but he isn't close enough because Wout van Aert manages to complete his Grand Tour trifecta of winning a stage in every win of the Grand Tours. It's also his 50th professional victory. So Wout van Aert wins. So the top 10 of today is that Wout van Aert wins ahead of Isaac Del Toro. Then 58 seconds later, Ciccone comes in third, then Carapaz, Simon Yates, Antonio Tiberi, Juan Ayuso, Thymen Arensman, Egan Bernal, after all that work, essentially doesn't really gain that much. So kind of sad to see. And then Adam Yates rounds out the top 10. A whole GC picture. Roglic, he comes in 2 minutes 22 down. And let's say that Ayuso's on 1 minute 7 down. So Roglic loses a minute 15 to Ayuso today. What do you want to talk about first? Because there's so much to go into.
Yeah, well, we'll kind of go through the GC as well. But I mean, first thing, Wout van Aert, very popular win. I mean, crashing in the Vuelta, crashing a lot last year, a lot of bad luck. Looked like he was going to win the points jersey and then crashing out there. Stage 1 coming very close with Mads Pedersen, and then one of the other stages, was a stage 3 where we thought maybe he would be up there, didn't quite have the legs. So we were a bit worried, and you kind of don't want to see Wout van Aert disappear. He's such a strong rider. He's done so much in the sport. And this will be a very, very popular win for not just him or his fans, and obviously Team Visma Lisa bike as well. He was supposed to be at the Giro last year. It didn't come because of the Dwastor-Flandering crash. And then here, getting a stage win. So Visma Lisa bike must be very, very happy about this.
Yeah, I think they will be. The fact that their main man, one of their kind of main talisman of the team, is finally kind of back. I don't want to say like fully back to his former self, but he's doing good basically, and it's really good to see that he gets the victory today. And I think it's definitely a sign of other things to come in this race. Whether he might just be helping Simon Yates, I don't know, but hopefully he gets a little bit of freedom to kind of do stuff like he did today and go into the breakaway and try and contest for some stage victories. So yeah, it's great to see Wout van Aert getting that 50th victory, getting his Giro d'Italia stage win, like you say, because he probably would have got one last year, let's face it, if it wasn't for that Dwasdorf-Landren crash. So yeah, it's really great to see that Wout is kind of back.
What did you make? Okay, obviously I'm a Match Vanderpool fan, so maybe this is the Match Vanderpool side of me. What do you make of his wheel sucking for most of the time on Isaac Del Toro? I mean, Isaac Del Toro is going to gain the GC advantage and the Maglia Rosa, but Wout wasn't really pulling his weight. So obviously he was worried about Del Toro's kick on up to the Piazza del Campo, but yeah, he could have done a few more turns.
It's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Like, in fear of people thinking that we're on one side of the fence or the other. Wout won today, but my word, like, Del Toro was doing all the work in that last 20k. Like, Wout didn't pull a single turn, and he just about beat Del Toro. And I think that's really perhaps just a testament to how good Del Toro is. But yeah, you could say that, Wout van Aert pretty much just had an armchair ride throughout kind of like the whole day from that gravel sector where it split up. He didn't pull a single turn, and he kind of just about came round at the end. You could say the same for Del Toro, though. Del Toro didn't really pull a turn. They were just relying on Ineos, and I mean, if somebody's going to do the work for you, you may as well just kind of capitalize from that. It's not really, that's just kind of good racecraft at the end of the day. You could say, but what Wout was doing was just good racecraft. He had no reason to pull. He has no skin in the GC game. He was there purely for the stage. And the best chances of him increasing his odds of winning were to just sit on. So from a tactical perspective, he did the correct thing, but I can understand why people would be a bit like, yeah, he won, but it was kind of like a little bit of like he didn't have to do loads to win it, let's say.
Yeah, because normally you see like the guy going for the stage, he'll do a lot of work for the GC guy to help him, and that gets gifted the stage. But I think between Visma Lease Bike and UAE Team Emirates, there are no gifts. So those two teams that are very big competitors against each other. Yeah, I mean, Wout, as you said, doing what needed to be done, and it probably pulled the card of my GC guy is in the next group, Simon Yates, so I can't help you. Yeah, and it was very funny with what you said with UAE pulling against Isaac Del Toro. But that aside, Isaac Del Toro, what a magnificent ride by him. Very good gravel rider, 2 times in Strade Bianche. Classical at high end, he was second place, and becomes the first ever Mexican to pull on the Maglia Rosa. So, I mean, with that in mind, Patrick, how big of a threat is he for potentially getting the win overall?
I think he's a pretty big threat, because he's not, some rubbish climber either. And I would say GC standings at the moment is that Del Toro leads a minute and 13 on his teammate Juan Ayuso in second place. Antonio Tiberi goes up to third, Carapaz fourth, Ciccone fifth, Simon Yates sixth, Egan Bernal seventh, Brandon McNulty eighth, Adam Yates ninth, and Roglic drops 7 places to 10th. So Roglic is 2 minutes and 25 behind Del Toro. And this is why I think that Del Toro is a threat, because his biggest competitor right now is his teammate Juan Ayuso. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the recap the other day, which is we were talking about the internal politics. And I was like, nah, they'll just go for Ayuso. But I was thinking that was a perspective where Ayuso and Del Toro would be on the same time. But now you're in a perspective where Del Toro is a minute and 13 ahead, with his main competitor who might well drop him being Ayuso. I mean, Roglic, yeah, he had a bad day today. But even in like the press and stuff, Roglic is kind of just like joking around, like he's not almost taking this Giro overly seriously. And people are talking about whether they're just using this as a preparation race, or is Roglic just using the Giro as prep for the Tour de France, which is kind of mad to think. I don't really think that's true, but people have talked about it, and I can see the sense in it. So yeah, I think Del Toro's a big threat, because I think that he's a really good climber, and to lose this, he's going to have to get attacked by his own teammate, which is just a whole like team dynamic, complete calamity, basically. So yeah, he is a big threat.
I think Ayuso is hoping for that time trial to swing it towards himself, because the unwritten rule that you don't attack a teammate who's in the Maglia Rosa is kind of like, it's gonna test some tension within, or test the loyalties within the team as well. I think maybe, who knows, if there's gonna be a split team. Where do you think he's gonna lose it, or what would be the day? Is it the time trial, or is it further into the race? I mean, he's still very young in the Grand Tour scene.
I think he'd keep it past the TT. I think Del Toro is a good enough time trialist where Ayuso will gain time on him, but I don't think it'll be a minute and 13 seconds. I think that would be something either really exceptional from Ayuso or something really bad from Del Toro to switch those places around. So then you're realistically looking at, with quite a lot of breakaway sort of stages in that second week and some sprint days as well, you're looking towards that final week, really, which, like you say, Del Toro's he is improving in the Grand Tour scene in comparison to Ayuso. So, yeah, you're looking at that final week, really, to see if Del Toro's got what it takes to, cut the mustard, so to say, in the high mountains against Ayuso, who's got a bit more experience in that. Or, I mean, who knows what Roglic is going to be doing at this point. 2 minutes and 25 down. God, I don't know. Who knows?
We did flag up this stage for Roglic as well, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Obviously, there was that crash, that free crash in a way. But yeah, well, I mean, okay, we might as well move on to that. What does Roglic and Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe do from here? Because they've lost Jed Hindley. Now they're not even inside the top five.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? Somehow them losing Hindley has led to the complete like destabilization of the whole team. Even though I don't think, I mean, Hindley would have probably been up there today to help, but it's just I don't get what it is. And this is a slight little tangent, but why is it that whenever there's any sort of complicated stage that doesn't involve like complete tarmac all the time, Roglic always, always has a problem. Like for whatever reason, he will crash into that freaking hay bale. Do you remember that? He will, have a puncture. He'll do whatever. I don't get how. Is it just me? Right? Tell me if I'm mad. I will on my like 25 mil like Bontrager R3, not very good tires, go riding on gravel, and I don't get a puncture. Why are there so many punctures going on in the peloton? Like somebody actually tell me what's going on, because I swear like those guys are running better tires than I am, and there's just punctures all over the place. I'm like, what are they? What's going on? So anyway, sorry. That's me just like having an absolute just meltdown over why there's so many punctures. But anyway, I can't remember what Eunice just said. What are they going to be doing? I don't know. They're going to need to fight back. Either they fight back or Roglic may as well just DNF a race and go and prepare for the Tour.
I hope not. I hope we get one of the greatest editions of the Giro with this amazing fight. Isaac Del Toro fighting Juan Ayuso and his team, and then Roglic coming from behind, and then out of nowhere we have Carapaz in fourth place as well. So that's great to see the resurgence of him. We saw it at the Vuelta, fourth place, polka dot jersey as well. Ineos looking quite good as well with Rivera and Egan Bernal and Arensman, but the wheels came off. But still, this is the kind of Ineos we want to see, where they're going on the offensive and not just sitting back and being conservative. So I thought that was quite good as well. What did you make of Ineos?
I thought they were really good today. You could. It is a little bit disappointing that perhaps it didn't pay off, because
True.
I mean, okay, Bernal has gone up 8 places in GC today, to be fair, up to 7th place. And Rensman's gone up 11 places to 13th. So it's all right, And to be fair to them, they made the race today. Pretty much. Right, if it wasn't for the Ineos Grenadiers, and okay, Lidl Trek did have a part to play, but if it wasn't for Ineos Grenadiers, this stage wouldn't have been half as entertaining as it was, because they were the ones who really put the hammer down on the gravel sectors. They managed to just like rally around their GC leaders in the gravel sectors today, and they always have a tendency to do this on the really technical and days where you don't win the race, but you can certainly lose it, and you're also very good at navigating these sorts of days. So I thought they were really good, and even if they didn't get their just reward for it in terms of gaining time in GC, I think that they should be pretty happy, and I think they will be pretty happy with today's performance. And yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, the top 5 is, not even the top 5. They're a minute away. They're less than 30 seconds away from the podium at the moment, and that would be a really good result. So I think you've got to, see the good with the bad.
Well, lastly, we might as well come to which teams will be overly disappointed about this. Obviously, we were talked about Roglic, so we can't really talk about that. I was kind of like, we talked about Pidcock a lot, that we saw this as a stage. Everyone was kind of looking at him as well. He was involved in that weird crash. Ulisi as well, losing the jersey by minutes. So that dream from yesterday kind of turned into a nightmare. Derek G losing time as well, but still gaining positions in GC. Max Poole losing 16 places. I mean, Patrick Space says us all. There's quite a lot of change happening, and well, if any of them as well, but who do you kind of see as licking their wounds on this second rest day?
Yeah, Storer as well. I'd add into that. He dropped 3 places today. If this is always going to be a stage which Stora, I think, was going to struggle on, in my opinion. To do well on these sorts of days, you need to have a little bit of that one-day race tenacity about you, or you need to have such a strong team that your incompetence over rough terrain is neglected or like counteracted, so to say. So I think, yeah, Stora, Roglic for sure. Like, gosh, drop it. You'd be disappointed because all things considered, Roglic was actually doing quite well in this stage, and he would be on the same time, I think, as the rest of the GC guys. But he he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He got stuck in that crash, and then he had a puncture off of that as well, which other people who got caught up in that crash didn't have. From what I mean, people probably did, but I didn't see it. So yeah, Roglic kind of had a double whammy there, which other people didn't, and he pretty much just spent like an hour of racing just trying to chase back on. So I think Red Bull, Bora Hansgrohe are the big losers today. Like I say, Stora, Pidcock as well, very similar to Roglic. He got caught up in that crash, and then he needed to have a wheel change as well. So I think Pidcock was really highlighting this day because Q36.5 were working on the front at the start of the day. Shows how confident they were. And I think if there was going to be a stage which people would think Pidcock would win, it probably would have been this one. So I think he would be disappointed. He does move up 3 places in GC to 16th place, but I think he would have taken a stage win over 3 places in GC,
That golden 16th place in GC. Yeah, it's a shame, a real shame for him. But there'll be more stages, so maybe he can get freed up to more of the stage hunting. We'll wait and see. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this recap race analysis of the 9th stage of the Giro d'Italia. Make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and comment down below what you thought of the stage as well. Who do you think is going to win the Giro? Is I think Del Toro the real thing? And are you happy for a while? But with that, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.